I came out as pansexual when I was 15. At first, I wanted to talk to the therapist that I was seeing about it first because I wasn't sure how to approach that situation, but this family member continued to press at me until I did spit it out. At first, they said that doesn't exist and it just sounds like bisexuality. Later on that night, they sat me down in front of them and told me to repeat the phrase, "I'm not gay," 3 times. And they've continually told me to hide that aspect of myself. They don't want their side of the family to know about it. They treat it like the only reason why I'm anything but straight is because they somehow messed up in parenting. They just don't believe that it's just something that people are naturally. So that really made me lose trust in them a lot. I have not told these people that I'm trans. That conversation is probably gonna come up pretty soon and I'm dreading it. My name is Scott Underwood. I'm an animation major at CCA. My most recent piece of art. The biggest thing that I've done has been this 30 by 40 inch ink and pen drawing. The prompt was, I am nature and nature is me. So I decided to go the symbolic route and include a bunch of flowers and plants that have a bunch of symbolism that relates to my life. Dandelions and daisies, they're normally associated with things that are related to childhood and are innocent, and I had them be dying and all that because, loss of innocence. My childhood was very negative and it affected me. I had to go through years of verbal and mental abuse throughout my childhood by particularly 2 family members that I lived with on separate occasions. One I haven't lived with since I was 12. I became their mental and verbal punching bag. They would take all of their anger and frustration out on me that they were going through at the time. They didn't take care of me. They neglected me and my sibling to the point where I had to steal food from school so that we could eat at home. We didn't have a lot of things in the house. We didn't even have any soap to clean ourselves at one point. And then I went to go live with this other person since I was 12 to 18. And this other person would constantly belittle me and just gaslight me and put me down so that they could feel like they're superior than me. I was always the bad guy in the house. I could never do anything right. To them, I'm the scum of the earth, I guess. The person I was staying with at the time, they found a very large bruise on my forearm here. I did used to beat myself until I left bruises and tear out my hair until there were bald spots and bite myself until there was just very large marks left in me. It was an odd situation. I had to explain to them that, yeah, I do this to myself when I'm upset. That was the last time I ever hit myself, but I did continue biting on myself and pulling out my hair. Nobody really noticed. I didn't really want people to notice. It wasn't for attention. It was because I felt like I deserved it. I deserved to get hurt.
Come on, grab your friends, we'll go to very distant lands. We'll take the dog and then the
When I was a kid, I since I didn't have any friends and I moved around a lot, I would just watch cartoons all the time. My favorite station was Cartoon Network, and no matter where I went, I always knew where to find those shows that were, in a sad way, my only friends. The fact that these shows really just made me feel less lonely made me want to make art in that sort of way, you know. My first therapist actually heavily encouraged me to use art as a coping skill for me, even if it got darker. I used to draw a lot of really gory and bloody things just as a way of coping. You know, and when people think abuse, they just think of hitting or sexual abuse and things like that. Like, people don't really talk about verbal and mental abuse that much. I'd really like to bring to light these sorts of issues and kind of challenge the idea that family needs to stick together and everything, because I really hate that in our culture. I really hate that we're so family-centric, because it can just lead to a lot of really bad situations where people feel like they need to forgive their family members for being awful to them just because they're family. Like, I want to make art. I don't want to make corporate big blockbuster things, because I don't think that's what art's about. It's about invoking emotion and experiences. I want to do animation because I want to make shows. I want to tell a story and show movement and expression. I want it to be on television. I want people to see it and be immersed in a world with feelings and experiences that I've gone through and others have gone through. I want to be able to reach people in the same way that a lot of the shows that I watched as a kid reached me. I want to be able to provide that for someone one day. Like, I want to make things that'll make lonely kids feel less lonely.